From the School of Journalism and Strategic Media, here's Blue Raider Extra Point.
Hello everyone and welcome to Blue Raider Extra Point. I'm Abigail Martin, joined alongside Chase Owens and with Will Stevenson. We are here in studio at the School of Journalism and Strategic Media. It's time to get caught up on what is happening around the Conference USA and with your MTSU Blue Raiders. Let's kick it off. First thing, Lori Hickey has this week's starting lineup.
The starting lineup.
The Blue Raiders have been in full swing this week. Let's take a look at some highlight and what is in store for the upcoming week. First, let's start with men's tennis. The number 38 Middle Tennessee tennis team hit the road Thursday as they took on the Louisville Cardinals. The Middle Tennessee men's tennis team ended up taking a hard loss of 4-0 Friday afternoon. The Blue Raiders will return to action April 11th when they travel to Memphis to take on the Tigers. Middle Tennessee softball faced Charlotte this past weekend. The game Thursday was tied with extra innings, but the Lady Blue Raiders just couldn't pull out the win. Defense kept Middle Tennessee in both games on Friday, but it was an explosive 8th inning in the second game of the day that allowed the Blue Raiders to have the chance to split the Conference USA opening series at Charlotte on Saturday. Next up, we have MTSU baseball. Thursday, MTSU baseball defeated Rice in the Conference USA home opener. The Blue Raiders and Rice went into the 8th inning tied before MT capitalized on a misplaced fly ball in left center field, allowing 3 runners to score with 2 outs in a 4-1 final. The Middle Tennessee baseball team split Friday's doubleheader with Rice in a hard-fought game on both sides of the field. The Middle Tennessee baseball team tied with Rice 9-9 in the series final on Saturday. That's all the time we have today for our starting lineup, but tune in next week for more updates of what's going on with your Blue Raiders. Back to you.
And Will, it is unfortunate seeing the tennis team lose this past weekend. They had been kind of riding a hot streak, but it doesn't end the most important streak, which is that home winning streak, which they've got a chance on April 16th to extend. And then another thing that we saw this weekend was a lot of top 10 plays from both the softball and the baseball team. It seemed that their gloves were just catching everything.
And you saw that play in the outfield for softball, but the underrated play that I saw on there was that third base rushing the ball for baseball and getting that throw to first. That's a hard play to make.
Especially all hand.
Big credit to that. But now let's go ahead and keep things rolling over to Nathan Vaughn, who has this week's Big Blue Review.
The Big Blue Review.
The Easter weekend was a busy time for everyone, including Blue Raider athletics, with multiple teams hitting the road, but MTSU baseball stayed at home for the holidays. The Blue Raiders hosted CUSA foes Rice for a 4-game homestand, with MT picking up 2 wins against the Owls. The Blue Raiders won on Thursday 4-1 and would take the first game of the doubleheader on Friday after former Oakland standout and Murfreesboro native Luke Vinson hit a walk-off single in the bottom of the 9th. Rice would nab the second game of the doubleheader before both teams finished with a rare tie on Saturday after being deadlocked at 9 runs apiece at the end of 12 innings. MT will hit the road this week for a 3-game series at UTSA, looking to continue a good run of form against conference opponents. Blue Raider offensive lineman and NFL draft prospect Robert Jones held his pro day on campus Monday morning. The 2-year starter at tackle currently projects as a guard at the pro level, according to NFL analyst Lance Zierlein, and is seen as a likely day 3 pick in the upcoming NFL draft. Jones started 19 of the 21 games he played for MT and was named honorable mention All-CUSA, as well as being invited to the Senior Bowl in January. Senior Day arrived for MTSU women's tennis, who faced WKU in the 100 Miles of Hate on the hard court Saturday. The Lady Raiders had no issue with the Hilltoppers, sweeping their rivals by a score of 7-0. The win gives Lydia Burrows her final win on MT soil as she continues her ascent up on the all-time wins leaderboard for Lady Raider tennis.
Guys, Nathan talked about a lot of great things right there, but one thing that I really, resonate with is the fact that Robert Jones, offensive tackle here at MTSU, has another opportunity to continue his playing career at the NFL. And we've seen over the past several seasons, several Blue Raiders get an opportunity. We're talking about Kevin Byard being one of the highest paid safeties in the league. We've seen a couple Super Bowl champs who have alumni ties to MTSU, and I just think that that's really cool.
And don't forget about Lady Raiders, Lydia Burrows climbing the all-time wins for MTSU in women's tennis.
Yeah, that's an amazing thing. And so off of MTSU athletics, we have now got to take a look at the rest of Conference USA and see how that's shaken out with Dylan Taylor's Around the CUSA.
The North Texas softball team is hoping that this past Saturday's doubleheader win will propel them forward for the rest of the Conference USA slate. The Bats came out hot for the Mean Green in Game 1 versus UAB as freshman Michaela Smith recorded the first 2 home runs of her young career to lead to a 6-1 victory. Mean Green pitcher Hope Troutwine also recorded the 43rd complete game of her career. With the win, Coach Rodney DeLong became the program's winningest coach through 100 games, sitting at 680 so far. In soccer, Kentucky and the FIU Panthers battled to a 1-1 draw in a Conference USA tilt on Saturday evening. Junior midfielder Marcel Meinzer fired an absolute rocket in the second half from outside the box to even the score versus FIU. This match gave the Wildcats and Panthers both their first draw of the young season and helped FIU jump Florida Atlantic for 3rd place in the standings. Finishing things off, in baseball, the number 17 ranked Louisiana Tech Bulldogs took the weekend series versus the UAB Blazers 3-1. The Bats carried the Bulldogs for most of the series, outscoring UAB 31-14 through 4 games. After this series, the Bulldogs also lead the entire nation in shutouts with 6 in only 27 games. Also, in the 11.7 college baseball podcast rankings, Louisiana Tech ranked number 1 in the country in their mid-major power rankings, sitting ahead of traditional powers such as Coastal Carolina, San Diego State, and UC Irvine.
Will, there's a lot of things that kind of caught my eye in that piece, but one was that the fact that Kentucky's men's soccer team is actually in the Conference USA.
And I think that MTSU has been needing a men's soccer team for a while. I came up in high school as a pretty big soccer fan, played it myself, and that's what I was looking forward to watching, just to come to MTSU and not even see that we have a men's team. But either way, for anybody on campus, you may have noticed a lot of changes around the softball field. They went through some renovations over the winter, and one of those changes was a brand new video board. And we had Nathan Vaughn visit one of their games to tell us all about it with this week's Blue Raider Spotlight.
Here at the Blue Raider softball field, returning fans might notice that MTSU softball's home field advantage has gotten a lot bigger and a lot louder.
We get to show our hype video, our pictures are up there, and our stadium. It's wonderful.
The upgrades to the field began last year with a new video board and padded walls along the outfield, with new seating and entryways finished this February.
Our park is really nice right now. So I think that we got a place that is fan friendly now.
For senior Summer Burgess, the old ball field has come a long way since she first arrived on campus.
We've been talking about it since I was a freshman, upgrading our facilities, and we started out with the padded wall, and that changed it a lot. The scoreboard is awesome.
Members inside the MTSU softball program, like head coach Jeff Breeden, also see the upgrades as a massive recruiting pitch.
We've been selling this thing for the last 5 years, and now it has come to fruition. And when you walk out of the parking lot out there into our stadium, we look like we're big time now. If you're going to check off some boxes, we got a lot of boxes that you check off in the right column.
For MTN Sports, I'm Nathan Vaughn.
Will, MTSU has got some huge matchups this weekend. Zachary Lone actually is going to take us through one of them with the scouting report.
The Lady Raiders softball team will be back home this weekend for a series against Marshall. This will be Marshall's first Conference USA series of the year. Marshall started off hot, being 11-4 heading into this weekend series. Marshall's bats are already in midseason form, batting .313 and already scoring 88 runs. They have also had 25 home runs. Allie Harrell, Sierra Horta, and Paige Hallwell have all hit 4 home runs for the Herd. Hallwell also leads the teams in RBIs with 13. The Herd also had 2 players who are batting .500 on the year in KK Kinney and Cameron McKellis. As a team, Marshall has an ERA of .279 and a WHIP of .124. Lainey Jones leads the team in complete games with 3 and also with strikeouts with 19. Kaylee Joyce leads the Herd in ERA with .145. Coming off a midweek game against Jacksonville State, this will be the first home game for the Lady Raiders since March 26th. As a team, their batting average is .275 and they have also hit 7 home runs. They are really good on the base paths, as they have attempted 54 stolen bases and have succeeded 46 times. Lexi Crushing leads the team in multiple categories. She leads the team with 3 home runs, 16 RBIs, and 201 putouts. Danielle Tite has a batting average of .500, which leads the team. The Blue Raiders have a team ERA of .308 and a WHIP of .132. Corinna Dodd leads the team in innings pitched with 68, ERA with .237, strikeouts with 38, and tied for the team lead in wins with 5. The Blue Raiders are looking to get back above .500 in the conference this weekend against Marshall in a huge weekend series. Back to you.
So our softball team actually has a lot more on-field experience than Marshall, with them playing 30 games total right now. They're even at .500, but the majority of their wins are coming from home, so I think that's got us in favor.
It does, but Marshall is one of the better offensive teams, and they've got some of the best bats in the country. They average about 6 runs per game, and if they didn't have a stretch where they only scored 2 runs in back-to-back games, that number would be a lot higher. And they also have 25 home runs in only 15 games played, so they are cracking the ball when they hit it, and that's going to be something to look out for when they take on MTSU.
Absolutely, and we're going to have a lot to talk about later when we get to those picks. But we are going to take a short break. When we come back, we're going to have our picks for MTSU's matchups this week. Stick around for more Blue Raider Extra Point.
Time for more Blue Raider Extra Point.
Welcome back, everybody, to Blue Raider Extra Point. I'm Abigail Martin with Chase Owens and with Will Stevenson, and y'all, it is time for the picks. This week, the baseball team travels to Texas to face off against UTSA for a 4-game series. They're going to be playing a doubleheader on Saturday. Thaso Lopez is currently ranked 3rd in stolen bases throughout the NCAA. Also, pitcher Aaron Brown is ranked 6th in strikeouts.
So we have not been where I think we should be for conference matchups so far. We've split series and we've had a couple of iffy games that we definitely should have won, but I think that they're going to change that this week. They need to get that domination on the road, and I think that UTSA is a perfect place to do it, so I'm taking the Blue Raiders.
I think as much hype and as emotion that went into Rice, with the series win, 2-1-1, a rare tie. It doesn't happen that often, but they did get a series win. I think kind of building off of that, especially when the Rice is usually the standard of CUSA baseball, they're going to roll right into UTSA and have a great game.
I absolutely agree with you. This is the time to keep the momentum up, pick up, create your own sort of thing, and take through with UTSA. I mean, you've got a series to go through. This is the time to keep it rolling. The softball team will play at home for a 5-game series against Marshall. They will have a doubleheader on Saturday as well.
With the softball team being 500 on the season with 15-15, that's a lot of on-field experience. But like you said, Marshall is the principal of CUSA softball, and I hate going against our Lady Raiders, but I'm going to go with Marshall this weekend.
It's the bats that kind of rule the nation, right? I mean, the best team with the best bats at the right moment are usually the teams that take home the most wins. And right now, Marshall's bats are really hot, and so I'm just going to keep riding them.
Marshall's absolutely on fire in terms of bat, but that doesn't mean that MTSU can't turn around and create something, and that's something that you have to find at some point in your season if you're going to get above 500, and it's going to be, a little bit in your sort of momentum type of thing, especially if you're home or away. It's about that initial reaction of finding that bat. Whatever is going to be your pitch, you have to take it, and that's something the Lady Raiders are going to have to do. With that being said, I am going to have to go with Marshall for this weekend. The men's tennis team, they are going to be playing at Memphis on Sunday. The last time that these two met was in 2016, and after 1-4 when playing away. Memphis is also ranked 27th.
So I want to go back on that a little bit because they actually played an exhibition match at the beginning of this year. Although it didn't count, MTSU did win that matchup. But now Memphis is a top 25 team that's battling to stay in that top 25, but they're there. We're in the area where we're battling in between 35 and 45. So on paper, Memphis has this win, but the Blue Raiders just took a tough loss in Louisville, and I think that they have to take this momentum. They only have one more home match after this. They need this road win so that they can establish their dominance after that home matchup. So I'm going with the Blue Raiders.
And I would be hard-pressed to find the last time that Coach Jimmy lost back-to-back games. You know what I'm saying? Like, he just lost to Louisville. I find it very hard to think that he's just going to go into Memphis and lay another egg. I think this is a really tough team, but I think MTSU is poised for the challenge.
This is something that we're seeing so far throughout MTSU athletics, that each of these teams are trying to prove themselves. They're trying to make themselves known for who they are. And men's tennis already has done that. But now it's a matter of the fact of you're going to have to finish out the rest of your season. This is, you just lost to Louisville, now having this game at Memphis. Then you return back on April 16th, Chase, as you were mentioning earlier, for the last home game for this men's season. So, I'm going with MTSU, absolutely, because I think that they have that fire under them, and I think Coach Borendam can get them where they need to be. You're going to have leadership show up, Tom Moonen, Chris Edge, all these guys that we've seen show up throughout the season, Pavel Modal. This is the time that they're going to shine, and the pressure's on. And we've seen, Will and I especially firsthand, that they can handle the pressure. So, absolutely, I've got MTSU Blue Raiders. The women's tennis team, they are coming off a sweep on their senior day against Western Kentucky University. They will travel to Alabama and play UAB for their final game of the regular season.
I hate going against the Blue Raiders. I always do. But the women's tennis team is one that I got proved wrong on the last one. Don't get me wrong, but I'm going to go against them again. That was their senior day. You've got a lot of energy. This is the last time they're playing at home. So they have a lot of energy to play that match. On the road, though, I'm just going to have to go the other way.
I understand where you're coming from, and I actually do like UAB in this one, but somebody to watch out, mentioned earlier in the show, Lindsey Burrows, I think she adds another win to her, all-time wins list.
Absolutely, and Lydia Burrows is definitely someone to watch, grad student finishing out her year, and then also they were, I guess you can say, kind of were recognizing the Bernard sisters played extremely well. The team altogether, great team effort. Coach Teo, what a team that she has created from recruiting to being able to have that play, and I know Henry and I were doing the broadcast the other day, and that's something that we talked about a lot, was the mental strength that it has that goes from the physical adaptation from the mental adaptation. And that's something that they proved to me immediately, because during that match that they had last on senior day, they were trailing behind, but they came back and they declared it. And they came out with that sweep. So I've got MTSU for this one, especially with it being their last regular season game. The Lady Raiders soccer team, they will be playing Marshall, a familiar foe, on Friday to wrap up this regular season.
Last season of the year, I think this one's quick and simple. I'm going to go with our team, the Blue Raiders.
It was tough to watch that tough loss that they took last Friday night against Florida Atlantic, on senior day. That was really tough to watch. And so I think that the seniors, even though a lot of them are going to come back, this year not counting because of COVID and kind of everything like that, I think they're going to take that with a grain of salt, and they're going to go in the regular season the way that they want to and the way that Coach Ashton is going to want them to.
Absolutely. It's the last time that they're going to put on those uniforms for now, even though regardless of coming back or not. But this is it for the season. This is the time to go out. All the blood, sweat, and tears from the beginning of the season and even forward. This is time to make up for that time. I've got MTSU.
Don't talk.
Check out Blue Raider Extra Point on Instagram and Twitter.
Unfortunately, that is all the time that we have for today. Make sure to tune in every Wednesday at 6 p.m. and be sure to check us out on Twitter and Instagram for more information on the show.
And if you missed any of this episode or any of our past episodes, you can check those out on our website at middletennesseenews.net. Thank you for watching, and have a great weekend. What I did at my comedy set.